So this is a disclaimer that I want to make before you watch this video and continue with my bot development series. I'm recording this, by the way, after I made the video. I should record it firsthand, but it's important that I mention this. You should have some basic knowledge in JavaScript before you go into learning Discord bots. The reason why is you will find it more difficult and frustrating. You'll come across a lot more roadblocks if you don't have some basic knowledge. Even though you can start out with no knowledge, since Discord.js, there's a lot of documentation out there in JavaScript, well, it can be easy to get into. You'll find yourself getting a lot more frustrated if you don't. Now, there are free resources online, paid ones, but I'm going to talk about free resources. First off, there's youtube.com, the site where you're viewing this video. All you have to do in the search bar above is type in JavaScript tutorials, and you'll find some good ones. There's also Code Academy. Code Academy has a course on JavaScript, which I've go through from time to time. It's very helpful. There's also Free Code Camp, which I used before, not that much, but that's an option too. And there's the MDM Web Docs, which has extensive documentation on JavaScript. It's also W3 School, which I refer to sometimes, which has extensive resources on JavaScript. So if you don't have basic JavaScript knowledge already, I suggest that you look at those online resources. I'm still learning too. I learn every day, but you can even ask me. I suggest before watching this video and future series, if you don't have basic JavaScript knowledge or coding knowledge, you should really help yourself by gaining that knowledge under your belt first. Take care, guys, and I hope you enjoyed the video that's coming. Hey guys, my name is Anthony, and here I'm starting a new YouTube series based around Discord.js bot development. I've been doing this for over a month now, and it's been a lot of fun for me. I've been learning so much about JavaScript, Discord.js, and Node. But the reason why I want to start a bot series is because I see a lot of people starting out with Discord.js and bot development. Sometimes they know JavaScript, other times they don't. But what I'm seeing is that people aren't doing the correct things, looking at things from the correct way, not being told the right things. And even though I'm fairly new to this, I feel that, with the way I code and the ethics that I follow and the way I approach problems, I think I can help others make the right decisions and help themselves more when it comes to coding, instead of always having to have your hand held the whole way and being spoon-fed. Those are common things I see since I've started really getting into coding and Discord.js and bots in this last month. So I kind of want to make a difference and point people into at least why I see a bright direction. And if people want to follow that, then I'll be happy with that. But if not, I'm just happy to be able to start producing content that feels right to me and that I can feel good about. Okay guys, so I want to interject with what I was previously saying. And I feel I sounded a bit weird, or what I was saying sounded weird or came across wrong. Just want to reiterate that. And the reason why I started the series again is because I feel people are somewhat misguided or confused with how they're getting into coding and such. And I feel I can help because I feel I have some clarity with what I'm doing, and I want to get that across to others, help people address the issues they'll come across when they code, and show people the correct ways, or what I say the correct ways, or the correct ways that are already out there, the proper resources. And again, you don't have to listen to me, but you clicked on this video for a reason. So hopefully I can make a difference. So here today, we're going to be looking at Discord.js. And Discord.js is a Node module built around and it allows you to access the Discord API. And with this JavaScript library and just how it interacts with Discord API in general, it's very extensive what you can do. You can see that here in the documentation, which is very great. It's one of the best documentations for API I have seen and worked with. Like this API has become my best friend. So here you can see like a little example of like how you get started right off the bat. And this is the code that we're going to be using later on. Here you can see what's said about Discord.js takes a more object-oriented approach than most other JS Discord libraries, making your bot's code significantly tidier and easier to comprehend. Usability, consistency, and performance are key focuses of Discord.js, and it also has nearly 100% coverage of the Discord API. And it receives new Discord features shortly after they arrive in the API. And the developers are constantly working on the library. And just some statistics over here, has over 1.4 million downloads, 2,882 stars on GitHub, and 100 contributors, and it's still growing. So to start, you can do npm install discord.js, but we'll get there a little bit more later. And over here I kind of just have some notes to kind of help me go through this, but like I said, how to install discord.js, we'll get there in a little bit. Anyways, I want to start talking about the documentation, because I see a lot of people starting out, they miss the documentation and it's like ignored. And you're going to see me consistently bring up the documentation in the series and like refer to it as I'm working through different episodes, because I want to like keep reminding you guys that there is amazing documentation out here at discord.js.org. So the npm package you can find right here. The latest version is 11.4.2, and the repository is hosted on GitHub. And GitHub is just a location where it's just a site where you can host repositories for your Git projects. And Git basically is a version control system. So you push your project to your repository, you commit it and push it, you can see the history of your project. And that's great for project management, collaborating and such. And I'll talk more about that in the future. But this is the npm page, and npm stands for Node Package Manager. So when you have a Node project, you can install different packages, as you can see here. The different sorts of packages that you can install, popular libraries like Express you may have heard of, React, Async, those are different libraries you probably heard of. So next we're going to talk about Node. Node.js is one of the first things that you're going to need, and you can simply come here and install it. I already have it installed. I believe if I go into the command prompt and do Node version 10.6.0. So for Node.js, I think you have to have version 8.06.0.0 newer is required. But here you can see I have 10.6.0 installed, so I'm good there. Here you can install Node.js, and if you have trouble installing it, I'm not going to specifically go over here, but I will link in the description on help to get installing Node.js. It's pretty simple. Here, like I'm using Windows, so I'll automatically show I'm using Windows, but if you're using a different operating system, you click downloads here in the navigation bar at the top. You can install the nodes for the different operating systems, also like a Docker image or other Linux download links if that's where you're hosting it. Anyways, you can either install the current version or the LTS, the recommended version. That's the one I'm using right now, I believe. So actually I think I'm using the latest. Yeah, I'm using the latest one actually, current feature. But I haven't had any issues using the current with the latest features. You can install either, it's up to you, but I think, based on my version, I have the current. I'm going to talk about heading over and creating the bot, because once you have Node installed, you're going to want to create an application, and you can go to discordapp.com/developers, the developer portal, basically what it's called, and then here you can access all your bots. What you want to do is you want to click create application. So I thought about this, and I think I'm going to call the bot Lincoln. I don't have an image right now. I'll come up with one, but I'm going to call Lincoln. Here, description is not required, but I'm just going to say a discord.js bot for YouTube tutorial. I'm going to put that here. And then just click Save Changes. So this is how you create a new application. Now if you look over here on the left, there's different tabs here. General information, OAuth 2, bot, which is the one you're going to be using here shortly, rich presence, and app whitelist. So each serves its own purpose. Probably the main ones you're going to be looking at here is just OAuth 2 and bot. Rich presence is more for specific applications, like say you're developing a game, you can implement rich presence in here. App whitelist, if you want people to test your game, I guess you can implement it with Discord and people can test your game that way. But I'm not going to be talking too much here about rich presence or app whitelist. But what you want to go ahead and do is click bot and click add bot, and it says that you can add a bot and say yes, do it. So now you have a bot user, and this is the bot user that you are going to be using with Discord.js. Now here I'm going to tick off public bot because I'm not going to be using this publicly right now. But if you're going to be releasing a bot publicly, before you even send the bot invite link out to anyone, you have to check this and make sure that you set the bot as public. Then you can assign different permissions and stuff before inviting, and you can see like the permission integer if you're mixing a whole bunch of different permissions. So once you're in here, you can build an OAuth to, like you can put redirect URLs, the scopes if you're specifically using OAuth 2, for example, your website, and you can allow users to use their Discord account to authenticate themselves on your website. We're just going to go ahead and tick bot, and here it generates a OAuth 2 link that you can use to invite the bot. Now you can send different permissions here, send messages, manage messages. Now if you release your bot to the public, make sure that you only give the bot the permissions it needs. No others, just the permissions it needs. Okay, so I'm back, guys. Where I left off is you can assign different permissions to the bot, and like once you like post your bot online for public use, you can automatically have these permissions assigned here through the OAuth 2. But I'm not going to assign any permissions right now because, well, I'm only inviting this to my test Discord. So I'm just going to go ahead and click copy. Open up a new window, paste in here. And here you can see add bot to the server. And I'm just going to go ahead in here and click Nerd Cave testing. That's the Discord I'm going to be inviting my bot to. And you're good to go. So if you go over and check in Discord, see over here Lincoln, just like that. So I'm going to give Lincoln the star role in here, just so you can see it right over here. So right now you cannot do anything with Lincoln until we get a Node.js project going. Back to here, you're going to go ahead and install Node. And if right now we're not going to talk about voice support, so you do not need these extra modules. But if I in the future do something with voice like YouTube, music bot, or whatever, then I'll probably install this. But right now, for starters, you don't need this. Another prerequisite that you might want to install off the bat is Windows build tools. In the command line, you can simply do that by doing npm-install-global. So this will install it. If you have a project directory, it'll install in that directory. If you do global, it'll install globally, so any future Node applications you are using, like Discord bots, it will use this. Then you just do Windows build tools. Now when you do this, it does install Windows build tools from the source. So it's going to take a few minutes depending on the speed of your computer and such. Windows build tools just gives you access to more of a range of different aspects. Sometimes like voice support if you're using nmap module, which I'll talk more in the future about, and stuff like that. But I will go ahead and install that because some future npm packages may require this. Anyways, just give me a quick moment. Alright, so at this point you should have Node installed. If you want to install Windows build tools, you can go ahead and doing that with the command I previously shown. What you want to do is you're going to create a folder in here, and you're going to create this for your project. So I'm going to go in here, new folder, and I'm going to call this Lincoln. So this is the folder where your bot's going to be on your computer, where you're going to be developing your bot from. You can do shift right click. Shift right click will allow you to open like PowerShell, Windows, command prompt, depending on what you use. Here I have PowerShell set up, but all you have to do is shift right click, and either of those options should pop up. Go ahead and just click, I'm just going to use PowerShell here, but if you have command prompt will be just the same. So it might take PowerShell a moment to start up, so I might skip it if it does take a while. Okay guys, it started up. Took a little bit. My computer is not the fastest, so yeah. Anyways, like I said, the first command that we're going to do once you have Node installed and all that is npm init. Init is a command that starts something. It initializes, it's initialize. So you're going to do npm init, and that is going to create a package.json file in your directory here. Package.json is very important for a Node application. You cannot run a Node application without package.json. In a package.json, you have the package name, description, the main file, which is like index.js, app.js. You'll have the author and the other information like the dependencies, the dev dependencies. Dependencies are the actual packages that are required for the application or the bot to run, and then the dev dependencies are packages that are required for development but not required to run the bot. So here I'm just going to call the package Lincoln version 1.0. You can just press enter here. I'm going to call my app.js, that's what I like to do, but you can do index.js, main.js, it's entirely up to you. Test command, I don't have one set up. Get repository, not set up. Keywords, license, yeah. So here you can see an overview of what the package.json looks like. And if you're good with it, just type in yes. So next, what you need to do, npm I discord.js, and this will install discord.js and its dependencies into your folder. Discord.js has available a pretty well range of dependencies to get you started right off the bat, so you don't have to worry about going all around and getting extra dependencies for discord.js to work. So here it's installed. Now some people might ask, why am I getting these warnings? Discord.js requires a peer of blah blah blah. You do not need these peer dependencies. These are entirely optional. So just keep that in mind, like Node, Opus, OpenScript, like I mentioned before, these are entirely optional. You can ignore this. Anyways, if you just do ls in here or dir, you can see the packages and the files in here. So I'm gonna go and close this, and here you can see it created package.json and node modules. The next thing I'm gonna talk about is an IDE. So an IDE is short for Integrated Developer and Development Environment. IDEs are known, you can work on your projects in these type of applications. So here specifically I'm using Visual Studio, and this is what I will be using throughout the series. But you can also use your own, such as Atom or any other type of IDEs you use. Whatever one that fits you personally, you can probably use with JS, but my preference here is Visual Studio Code. I've used that since the beginning. So you can download it, Windows here. You can get started off the bat from there. Once you download and open up Visual Studio Code, you'll have this. So actually you'll probably even start out with something like this, where no workspaces are open or anything. What you'll probably do from the beginning is create a new, open a folder, open a workspace. Anyways, I have a workspace specifically made just for this YouTube series, YouTube Discord development. Once you have a workspace open, you can add a folder into workspace, and this folder is basically your bot folder. So I'm just gonna click add folder. So what you want to do is go click add folder, and you can navigate to the folder where your bot is in and add that folder in the Visual Studio. I'm gonna go ahead and do that real quick. So here I'm at my bot, and right here I have the Lincoln bot folder. If you look over here in this folder, this is where I have created the npm init and npm install discord.js. If you look in the node modules, you can see that I have all these modules in here. Select Lincoln and click add, and then boom, Lincoln is added. I have all the files right here, just like that. From here, we're gonna need a few things to get started. And I'm gonna go ahead and go back over to discord.js. And I'm just gonna go ahead and get this example usage. This is simply how to just straight off the bat get started with a discord.js bot. So I'm gonna copy this, create a new file. You can do that by right-clicking the folder that you added into Visual Studio. And since I called my main file .app.js, I'm gonna call this app.js. If you call it index.js, make sure this is index.js. So I'm gonna call this app.js, and I'm gonna paste in this code. Hit save. So here, I'm gonna talk about what's going on. So the first line here is const discord, and then equal is assigned to require discord.js. This is a constant variable. If you know JavaScript, or you should know it, this just lets you define different variables. It can be either const or let, but I call it discord. And next line is I instantiate a new Discord client, discord.client here. So const client equals new discord.client. And we have two different events here, they're called. So I have the ready event and the message event. The ready event is called whenever the bot is ready to start working. And the message event is called whenever a new message is created in the Discord. And you can kind of see, like, if you know basic coding, JavaScript, you'll know what this does. And then at the end, we log in the bot, and you need a token here. I'm gonna go ahead and get the token. I'm gonna talk more about tokens in the next video and why you should keep them secure and such. But this is just an intro video. I'm going to do. To get your token, you're going to go back to the application that you created in the Discord developer portal. You're going to go over the bot, and here where the token is. You can always regenerate if something happens, like your token gets released, or you just want to regenerate your token. But you don't have to delete your bot and then regenerate the token. I'm going to go ahead and click copy. If you want to see what the token is, you can just go view the token here. I'm assigning this token at the end of this video, so don't even try using this token. It's not going to work. Anyways, go here, and right here in these quotations, just go ahead and put client.login and then the token. Then boom, that's all you have to start out doing. Now, a really neat feature with Visual Studio is you can open up a terminal in Visual Studio. Now I can do this with Control Grave. I think it may be somewhat similar on Mac. I cannot remember off the top of my head, but that's how you can do it. And here it'll, start up a new terminal, CMD. So if you do ls here, well, sorry, I'm a Linux person, so ls doesn't work. Do dir, you can see the different folders of packages and files in here. app.js. So all you have to do as a start is do node app.js. What this does is node app.js. This will start the node application. You see logged in as client.user.tag, client.user.tag. If we go over to Discord, well, look what we have here. Lincoln is online. Now, if you go ahead, you check in here the message event. Now remember, message event checks for any new messages created in Discord. So like I said, you should know what this means when you look at this code. I'm going to type in ping in this channel. Pong. The bot's working, guys. The bot is working. Now, the bot's working, and this is really all you need to just start out real basic. So let's just recap what we did so far. First, I showed you the discord.js documentation and a brief overview of what it's about, what's it used for, and then that. Next, we went over to Node. I talked more about that, how to install it. And then I talked about the discord.js package. Then I showed you how to create an application and how to create a bot user so you can use that bot user with your discord.js application. And the bot user has a token. Each bot's token is unique. Secure this token, don't give it out. Giving someone your token, guys, is like giving someone the keys to your house and you walking away. I'm talking about that in the next video, but that's what, just don't share this token, just for starters. And then the two events in here, ready event fires whenever the client is ready for use, and then message event fires whenever a new message is created in your Discord server, or if there's a DM channel. So ping, pong.